names, we can equally well substitute an or if it's one of two taxa, SP question mark. Basically the determination formulas are things that determine
we
the
actually have something like that.
You've got two taxa in one.
I think the thing that would make people go insane is when they came across terms like emited C listed, which is, you know, a taxonomic identification that's been published for 30 years now, but it doesn't have a formal name. We have a lot of that in paleontology.
Oh,
But
I can
that's a
tell you
rapidly
stories.
Some of the whatever molecular ecological inventorying techniques are, you know, they're sort of proving things exist out there and that they're in a certain taxon, but may even be a cluster of things that exist out there that haven't been described yet. So provisional names are something we're going to have to figure out. Overlapping or conflicting hierarchies or something we're going to have to figure out. We've been hoping for somebody to build like an external name resolver as a web service and spare us from this problem, but we're losing hope.
We found some types of type designations that we don't know what. What's a hypoplasto something type?
Actually, that one we might be able to help.
Oh, but it was like an outlier. It was like one that wasn't like any of the ones that we knew before, and it was written in a catalog. And
so, how hard is it to add in new ID formulas? Is that like a?
Depends on how complicated the formula is. Obviously, it has to be programmed.
Yeah, anything that uses less than 2 taxa is pretty simple at this point. We haven't thought about 3 yet. We're hoping the Willow people keep pretending like those things don't exist.
Okay.
Theoretically pretty easy. Coding, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
One other question that it's a little unclear to me is most of this designed around the idea that the fundamental object is also a biological organism? Or is it just that this is an object and you're treating it as a whole lot of different attributes? Because one of the things we've you know, there are, for example, you know, colonial organisms where our physical object is a colony of many different kinds of taxa. You know, but then also we have things like rock samples that are non-biological organisms that are associated in many cases with our collections. You know, and there's a fundamental many-to-many relationship problem with some of our data that we just keep working around.
We can go somewhere down that path. We're not sure where that is yet. We haven't hit the end yet. Cataloged items can represent lots. So as simple as a fish guy with a bucket full of guppies to a rock with 27 different bryozoans on it. Identifications can be as vague as they need to be. So you can go to bryozoa or you can go to animalia if you need to. I'm not sure. At some point we're going to hit the end of that path and we know how to extend it, but it's going to take funding. So yeah, at some level it's a at least object, if not specimen-centric model.
We've toyed with the idea of like an environmental sample type catalog where it doesn't really have any taxonomic attributes, but it has, say, a method. You know, it's a benthic grab at such and such a latitude and longitude in the Arctic Ocean, and if I'm looking for some particular kind of polychaete worm that might be in that part of the ocean, I might want to go through that grab that's been sitting in a plastic jug on a shelf somewhere for the last 20 years.
Right. The slightly longer version of that is right now the model has an object at the center and stuff happens to that object, somebody identifies it or whatever. The solution, if it were only so simple, is to essentially invert that and make the event the center. So events are what you care about. Somebody identified a thing and, oh yeah, it happens to be a specimen because of that. Somebody collected it.